Children responsible for the assault have been arrested. The incident occurred as the pregnant woman was walking home. After a group of minors knocked her down, they took turns jumping over her as if playing a vaulting horse game. Her young son rushed into the crowd, shielding his mother's abdomen with his frail body. Despite his tears, a cell phone camera captured this heart-wrenching scene, while the children laughed and completed each shove.
Have you seen that viral clip of a mom and her son getting rushed by a whole group of middle school troublemakers? The moment it hit the internet, people were stunned because the energy in that video was wild. And then the parents of those kids came online acting bold, bragging about their children like they were some kind of neighborhood celebrities, even claiming other people did worse back in the day, like that somehow makes it okay. They really proved the saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because the way they tried to defend that behavior was unbelievable. But the internet wasn't letting any of that slide. Folks started digging, and suddenly every parent involved had their whole online history laid out for the world to see. People were shocked seeing how some of these parents had a pattern of messy behavior themselves, and the community wasted no time calling out how dangerous it is when grown adults hype up chaos instead of shutting it down.
So apparently the mother has been telling the school this entire time that her son was getting bullied, and the school didn't do anything about it. And this is why you got the community out there protesting, because these schools refuse to do anything when these parents come up to these schools and tell them that their child is being bullied. I don't know what goes on in their minds, and they just be like, oh, you know, kids are going to be kids. Y'all have to stop doing that, because we see too many situations where kids are being bullied. The parents come up and they tell y'all about it, and for some reason y'all don't do nothing about it. It's really frustrating.
Now the public is demanding accountability, saying these parents need to get serious before things escalate into something none of them can walk back from. In just a few days, this turned into a national conversation, and now everyone from Chicago to New York to LA is talking about how these situations keep happening because adults refuse to teach responsibility. The whole situation has blown up so fast, and it's not just a local story anymore, it's turning into a full-on warning about what happens when parents defend the wrong things instead of correcting them. For a minute now, teachers, cashiers, bus drivers, security guards, pretty much anyone working with the public have been speaking up about how these kids today are out here acting bold with zero discipline or real supervision. People keep saying it feels like some of these kids run the streets, the hallways, and even the classrooms, and nobody can tell them anything without getting attitude thrown right back at them. Some teachers have reached their breaking point and walked away from their jobs entirely because they said dealing with this chaos every day was draining them. They've described classrooms turning into nonstop battles just to keep order, and the pressure got so intense that walking away felt safer than staying. So just a few days ago, Krishanda pulled up to Orville Bright Elementary School to pick up her son on a regular Tuesday afternoon, thinking it would be a normal day. But this situation had been building for a long time. Krishanda, who lives with sickle cell disease and already deals with constant health challenges, had been telling the school for 2 whole years that her son was getting bullied. She filed reports, called the office, emailed teachers, all of it, and still nothing real was done to protect him. And any parent knows how painful it is to keep begging adults to step in while watching the situation get worse. This wasn't just one bad moment. This was a mom who had warned everyone repeatedly that her child wasn't safe, and the school still didn't take her seriously until everything spiraled out of control. That day turned into something no parent should ever experience, and it went downhill fast. When those kids spotted Krishanda and her son, they walked right up on them, cracking jokes and laughing like they were trying to start a scene.
Come on, blood! Shamar, look at that! Shamar! Come here! What you want, Shamar, foot? Shamar, foot, what you want, Shamar? Shamar, look at that.
Krishanda didn't clap back, didn't raise her voice. She just grabbed her son and daughter, told them to stay close, and kept it moving because she already knew anything could happen if she reacted. But instead of leaving them alone, that group kept trailing behind them all the way down to the next street, like they wanted trouble. Then out of nowhere, one of the kids struck her son, and that was the moment everything exploded. Krishanda stepped in to shield her child, and in seconds the situation turned violent, with people grabbing at her and even yanking on her daughter's hair while chaos erupted around them. Her son tried his best to protect her, covering his mother's midsection to stop anyone from hitting her again. And seeing a child forced into that position is heartbreaking. The whole moment felt unreal. A mother just trying to get her kids home, ending up fighting for safety right in broad daylight on a neighborhood street where families walk every day. If you haven't seen that video, honestly, it might be better not to watch it because the clip hits you hard. It's one of those moments that leaves you stunned, upset, and questioning how something like this even happened in the first place. The whole scene is painful to witness, and it says a lot about how serious things have gotten out here.
Other bitch, Mar. Back his ass. Back his ass. Oh my.
And of course, this is 2025. Nothing stays private anymore, especially when people have phones out faster than they can blink. The whole incident was recorded from multiple angles and blasted all over social media, especially on Facebook, where it spread like wildfire within minutes. The internet wasn't laughing, joking, or brushing it off. Everyone who saw that clip felt the seriousness, and the comment sections turned into a storm instantly. By the very next morning, community members were already outside the school gates demanding real answers and real accountability. People were holding signs, recording live videos, and calling out the school for letting things reach this point.
With the parents and those children. And I think before we do a lot of talking, we need to listen. We need to listen to those children. What I just heard are two little, beautiful black children that are traumatized. They've been bullied. They've been tortured. And I just spoke without giving up full details. What I just told the principal and CPS, that we're not about to let a bunch of rules get in the way of protecting our children.
That's right.
No mother should ever have to go through what that woman went through.
The pressure got so heavy that the police had to show up, and they ended up detaining and questioning several of the kids who were involved in the attack. Officers kept them for hours because the community wasn't playing. They wanted action, and they wanted it now. Meanwhile, Krishanda had to be rushed to the hospital with her son because the attack shook her to the core, especially with her pre-existing health condition, making everything 10 times more overwhelming. The stress, the fear, the physical strain, it all hit her at once, and she needed immediate medical attention just to stabilize after everything she went through. Her son also needed treatment, and seeing both of them in that state had people online even more outraged. The whole situation became a wake-up call, and nobody could believe it got this far. The community wanted to make it clear that this situation was not about to get brushed off or ignored, so people took the fight straight to the internet with full force. They started searching for the parents of the kids involved, because everyone knew behavior like that doesn't just appear out of nowhere, it usually reflects what's happening at home. Folks were convinced that if the school wasn't stepping up fast enough, then the parents needed to face real questions about what was going on with their children. One by one, the parents were identified online, and the community began pushing them to take responsibility. People were demanding accountability, demanding explanations, and demanding that these adults stop pretending nothing happened. The comment sections lit up with frustration, and someone even posted, "This will be the very first time calling someone's job to get them fired." Another message popped up saying, "But at Yas St. Patrick, you can delete your Facebook all you want, but the internet will find you. And when they do, I swear I'm gonna call your job 55 times a day to get you fired." Now that name, Yas St. Patrick, quickly became the center of attention because she's the mother of one of the girls who was allegedly leading the whole group. Her page started circulating before she tried to disappear from social media, but by then screenshots were already everywhere. People online felt like the parents didn't show enough concern after seeing the clip, and that added fuel to the backlash even more. And while nobody wants to see someone lose their job, the community was clearly fed up and wanted these parents to understand the seriousness of the situation, especially since a mother with a medical condition had been hurt in the process. This whole thing had turned into a digital manhunt, and the internet wasn't letting anything slide.
And to the mother down there in Chicago, who daughters apologize? No, you don't get to tell us how to treat your daughter because I watched that clip. You understand me? I watched that clip. She was not a child the way she was cussing, baby. She done heard some things and seen some things, young lady. You did a terrible job. You did a terrible job.
When the video first started blowing up everywhere, Yas St. Patrick jumped online trying to defend her daughter with a whole speech. She posted, "Let me say this. My daughter is a great kid. She's an AB student, captain of the cheerleading team, ahead of her class, and some more. All good things from every teacher. We don't owe anybody an apology, but that lady and her kids, so you in Memphis looking for a viral moment, please shut up." She kept going, saying, "Kids gonna be kids, and it's kids out here that did way worse-ish, let alone when you were 12 and 13 years old. You used to be out here beating up crackheads and all. You don't know us at all." She was peer pressured, she was held accountable for her actions. It takes a village, but she got a castle, and everybody's standing 10 toes down behind her. Once again, we do not owe no apology, and no, my kids were not raised like that at all. And that whole message had people staring at their screens like, what? She basically tried to say her daughter wasn't raised like that, but also said kids gonna be kids, and tried to compare the situation to stuff people allegedly did decades ago. The internet instantly caught those contradictions, and the comments started rolling in fast because none of it made sense. People were questioning how she could brag about good grades and cheerleading captain status while ignoring the fact that a mother with a medical condition got hurt. And the part where she said her child wasn't raised like that had everybody asking the same question. If she truly wasn't raised that way, then where did she pick up that kind of behavior? The more Yas tried to hype up how perfect her daughter supposedly was, the more the community felt like she was avoiding the real issue. Folks were saying that defending your child is normal, but acting like nothing happened and brushing off an assault was wild. And every new comment she posted just made the situation look more chaotic because she seemed more focused on clapping back than understanding how serious things had gotten. She really must have believed the internet would chat for a day or two and then just move on like nothing ever happened. She probably thought the story would fade out, people would get distracted, and the whole situation would disappear into the background. But that did not happen at all. The internet locked in on her the way only the internet can, and the pressure kept building every single hour. People were calling her out left and right, reposting her comments, stitching her videos, and dragging every part of that original statement until she had no room left to hide behind excuses. It got so intense that she ended up going live with her daughter sitting right beside her, trying to clean everything up with a public apology.
I was wrong.
It's okay, come on.
For everything that I did. And I was just being a follower. Following everybody who don't even got nothing that I got.
The whole thing felt like she finally realized the situation was way bigger than just defending her child, and the backlash had reached a point where silence wasn't an option anymore. Going live with her daughter turned out to be one of the worst moves she could have made because nobody was trying to hear any of that explanation. Viewers were already upset, and seeing the girl, who was reportedly the first one to swing at the mother, sitting there while they talked about peer pressure made people even more frustrated. They kept saying she was just a child, but the internet wasn't buying that excuse at all, especially considering how serious the situation turned out to be.
I know y'all see that video. And if any bitch wanna be funny, fuck your ugly ass baby, pissy ass grandma, old ass people. What kind of shit they want when they got buried? Ugly ass clothes. People fuck y'all. On crap, I hate all y'all. Bottom line. Hey, I know y'all see that video.
Folks were watching that live shaking their heads like, please stop. Then to make things even more chaotic, an auntie of one of the kids jumped online too, wearing what looked like her niece's jacket while talking about Krishanda and her 9-year-old getting attacked like it was nothing. She was laughing, joking, acting unbothered, and the community was stunned because they couldn't figure out what part of that situation was supposed to be funny. People kept asking, what exactly is so amusing about a mother with a medical condition getting assaulted while her children were terrified? The lack of empathy had viewers furious. Other parents started coming forward as well. People like Tisha Stevenson and Nicole Collins loudly announcing that they don't play about their kids and that they were standing 10 toes down behind them. But instead of calming things down, their statements made it clear that some of these adults weren't acknowledging the seriousness of what happened. The whole situation was triggering for a lot of viewers, especially parents who understand how scary it is when a peaceful walk home turns into a dangerous confrontation. And even with the video circulating everywhere, even with the community demanding accountability, some of these parents still refuse to admit their kids did anything wrong. This wasn't a harmless moment, and it definitely wasn't a case of kids just being kids. This was a violent incident that left a whole family shaken, and the way some adults reacted made everything feel even more unsettling. People understand these kids are still young, but at the end of the day, the internet is demanding real accountability before anybody even thinks about giving forgiveness. Viewers kept saying that if nothing is done now, these same kids will get bold enough to repeat the exact same behavior again because nobody ever taught them that their actions come with consequences. The whole situation had the community feeling like this was the moment to step in before things spiral into even bigger problems later. Gershonda eventually spoke out herself, and her message broke a lot of hearts because you could hear how much pain she was in. She said, "So much pain, emotional and physical. I'm not feeling good at all." She explained that her entire body was hurting and both of her children were traumatized, with her son waking up in the middle of the night calling her name because he kept reliving the moment. That kind of fear doesn't just disappear, it sticks with you. Then her husband stepped forward and broke his silence too, saying, "We have trauma too. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. I had to force myself to sleep because every time I close my eyes, I see the video. I want justice. I want the school to be responsible, the parents, and the kids that were doing all of that mess." And the internet had plenty to say too. Comment sections were packed with people expressing shock, frustration, and disbelief that something like this could happen in broad daylight with this level of disregard. One message summed it up perfectly. Crazy world we live in today, for real. Kids raising kids. The whole situation has people demanding change because this wasn't just a fight, this was a wake-up call for an entire community. I saw that video of those kids rushing that mom and her 2 children, and honestly, it shook me because the disrespect was unreal. If I ever acted like that growing up, my whole family would have dragged me inside the house so fast and reminded me exactly how to behave. Watching that clip from Chicago, seeing a mother with a medical condition and her babies getting attacked had people furious because it felt heartless and chaotic on a whole different level. Viewers kept asking what kind of environment these kids are growing up in where something like that even seems okay. And comments were exploding with people saying things like, "Don't just punish the kids, hold the parents accountable too." A lot of folks believe that if adults can't control their children, then they shouldn't be able to walk away from the situation untouched. The community wants everyone involved to understand how serious this really was. This incident has people questioning how society got here and whether anyone expected something this wild to happen in broad daylight with cameras rolling. So now I want to know your thoughts. Would you have ever imagined seeing something like this happen to an innocent family? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.